quote friends' lines to each other on the field quite a lot. Little lines out of films and things while we're bowling.
I think when Shabnam Ismail's bowling at you, every ball's red. She's so fired up and she wants to take your wicket, hit you on the head.
Tino Best, when I was playing in a second team game, I stood at the end of his mark, started clapping his hands and referring to me as Ron Weasley. I did look a bit like Ron Weasley. I was a pale ginger kid. Character building, isn't it? Character building.
So to start off, we're here with Radox today and we want to know who takes the longest in the shower.
Stuart Broad.
Sophie Eccleston. She always seems to be one that you're waiting for dinner, and well, she's got really long hair, hasn't she? So she takes ages washing her hair and straightening her hair, and she's always like, oh, it took me ages to do my hair.
Definitely Broady. You can kind of tell by the amount of time that it takes on his hair and appearance, and it used to be the pretty boy looks and obviously a couple of wrinkles now. But
what's your honest inner monologue usually saying as you're coming out to bat?
Honestly, it's really, I'm just like, just play. Like, and it just makes it really light-hearted, just not too heavy, just play. Like, and it sort of probably reconnects me a bit to like being a kid and you're just playing.
When I'm going out there, it's a case of assessing the situation and basically understanding how you're able to influence the game. So just those few bits.
Don't get hit and don't get out. I don't really like it, to be honest. I don't like batting. So if I come off the field unscathed, with no bruises, no damage whatsoever, then I'm happy.
I think most players have a game where they feel like they were beaten by their opponent, usually when you're a bit younger. I want to know, who was the first player to humble you on the field?
The first one I really remember was Matthew Hayden, who used to open the batting for Australia. Big fella, used to smack the ball everywhere. And he hit me first 64 in 4 overs in a T20 game, which is pretty bad. So thankfully that record's now been broken by someone else.
I think someone who always humbles you because she's such a good competitor. She probably got me out many a time. And I remember playing against her in one of my first series for England. Was Marizanne Kapp. And she got me out in the first T20 I played against her, and then by like game 3 I sort of figured out what I was doing, and I think I got 70 or 80 in that game, but I remember she had the better of me for a couple of games when I'd first started playing for England.
Well, I've played against Mark Wood for the best part of 20 years since we were 11 now. Yeah, I reckon Woody, but then I've also hit the ball at him quite a few times, making sure that he doesn't bowl too quick at me when we're growing up, because otherwise, if he knows that there might be one coming back at him, then hopefully he's nice to me and it goes either my end or outside off so I can leave him.
Which opposition player talks the most on the field?
Marnus Labuschagne talks a lot, but not necessarily to anyone, just to himself. Quite a bit of commentary on the game, like commentates on his shots.
Alyssa Healy, without a shadow of a doubt. I think because you hear her so much because she's keeping wicket, she's often up to the stumps, chirping away, trying to get under your skin. I had a grey Nix bat, and it was like one of the old school scoops with the back out of it. And I remember she was like saying something about my bat, as if so for me to be like a bit unsure or be like, as if I was trying to be cool or something. And I was like, well, I'm just using the bat that they gave me.
Generally, Australia have got a decent amount of energy around it. It's difficult to pick an individual person out, but generally they tend to be more talkative.
Which teammates make you laugh on the field?
I think Mark Wood is probably the one who makes me laugh, not just on the field, but in general, more than anyone else. We quote friends' lines to each other on the field quite a lot. Little lines out of films and things while we're bowling, so it sort of helps pass the time if it ever gets boring.
Danny Wyatt or Sophia Dunkley. They don't often say like cricket-related things, but when they do, or they're like trying to get chirp into an opposition, it's always the most random, like funny, but what even is that? Like what are you even saying or trying to get at?
Moeen Ali is absolutely hilarious, just in mannerisms and impressions and things like that. So yeah, Mo's up there for me.
What's the best bit of sledging you've ever heard?
I don't think I've got much I could repeat. No, it's not just swearing, it's worse than that. The worst thing that someone said to me was Michael Clarke said, "Get ready for a broken arm."
Unfortunately, I won't be able to disclose that information.
I mean, you can say what you want on Joe.
No, I can't. Unfortunately, sorry to bore you, but yeah, now you can't really say too much.
One of the West Indies girls shouted, "Does she play football?" because I just kept hitting, like, just kept wrapping her on the legs.
What's the funniest thing anyone has ever said to you on the field?
Tino Best, when I was playing in a second team game, I stood at the end of his mark, started clapping his hands and referring to me as Ron Weasley. Yeah, I was 16 and Tino Best was bowling very fast, so I didn't really know what to come back to. But yeah, he referred to it quite a bit and has done ever since. I did look a bit like Ron Weasley. I was a pale ginger kid. Character building, isn't it? Character building.
You know what? I think this might have been Alyssa Healy, and it was really random. She was on about something to do with my eyebrows, or having like mascara on or something. I remember like facing up to bat, and I was just like chuckling away.
Have you ever had a ball bowled at you that's made you see red?
Not really. I get more angry if I'm bowling and someone hits me for 4. I think that's probably the one for me that gets me the most angry.
I think when Shabnim Ismail's bowling at you, every ball's red. She's so fired up and she wants to take your wicket, hit you on the head. I reckon I quite like it gets me into the contest. I prefer it if someone's sort of going at me and, you know, like I'm like, right, I've got to switch on here. Like, it's me, you're in a battle then, it's me versus you. But I actually quite like it when someone's sort of going at me a little bit.
Yeah, plenty of times. I mean, that's just part and parcel of people's character and makeup. Playing professional sport, there's bound to be people that wind you up, and that's their job to wind you up.
What's the weirdest pre-match ritual in the England dressing room?
Jonathan Trott was one who had a routine in putting his kit on. So the like Velcro straps on his pads, he'd undo and do up like 8 times on each strap. So you could just hear this like, not as he's undoing them. Just superstition, I think. And then he'd bat in the mirror and sort of get himself ready. So I think he was the most sort of anal about his preparation in that respect.
Some lads put the left pad on first, some lads like having chewing gum, some lads like having a bath in the morning. The weirdest one, each to their own again, isn't it? It's like what's weird for some people is not weird for others. Not necessarily in the cricket dressing room, but I remember someone that had to be sick before they went out and played because their nerves got the better of them. And it was before every single game. You'd see them literally 5 minutes before going out, just go to the toilet and unfortunately be sick due to the nerves.
What were your feelings around the first Ashes test that you represented England?
Yeah, I feel like it is scary going into your first Ashes, but because especially if you've grown up watching cricket like me and you know how big the Ashes is, you see what it means to people, you see the players that have played in it, the icons that have come through and done well in it. It's just a bit of like, I hope I can perform well and help my team win.
It's captivating. Captivates the nation. I remember watching the 2005 Ashes and that inspired me to go on and play and try and play for England. Yeah, there's nerves around, there's an excitement around, there's an anxiousness around, there's a lot going on in those first days, but that's the thing that makes you want to play in those series, those games, those moments, and hopefully be a part of something that's very special over those 5 test matches.